Have you been thinking about buying a home in Granite Bay, but notice there haven't been any new construction homes going on? Well, today this show is all about living in Granite Bay, and we're going to review some of the new hottest communities coming into Granite Bay right now. And we have a special guest speaker, so let's hop into it. Hey everybody, welcome to Sacramento's Real Estate Channel, where we talk everything there is to know about the brand new builds and of course, what there is to do here in Sacramento. If you've been thinking about making a move to the area, subscribe to the channel. And just so you know, we go live every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. We'll see you there. All right, guys, well, there you have it. Welcome to the channel. Today, we're gonna have a pretty good show. We're going to talk about all the new construction homes going on in Granite Bay. Now, if you know anything about Granite Bay and if you've been around there, you know there's a lot of older established communities, some really high-end communities really pushing that $1 million and up mark. Granite Bay is one of those communities that's known for its luxurious and prestigious feel, but also being next to Folsom Lake or bordering Folsom Lake. So there's a lot of beautiful properties around here. Some of them even with acreage, ponds. It kind of got the woods feel going on there. So we're going to review some of the new construction homes coming in here because Granite Bay is known to not have too many. But now this last year, we've had a lot open up. So I'm going to bring on a guest speaker with me as well. We're going to kind of review some of the new construction homes coming in to Granite Bay. Mark, how are you?
Good, man. How are you doing today?
Doing good, doing good. It's another good, nice Tuesday. Despite the rain, it feels like Portland here in Sacramento, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, no, it's raining, man. Crazy drivers out there. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know. I almost got hit a few times. I actually was in Granite Bay today, so we'll be talking about Granite Bay. I'm really excited about this. If you guys aren't familiar, Mark is also has a YouTube channel all about Sacramento real estate. So if you guys want to give him some love on there as well, we'll link his channel below, or you can just search him up on there as well. And then I also have Priscilla hopping on saying, hi, Sam. Good to see you on the show, Priscilla. And again, before we kind of move forward into all this, new construction details about Granite Bay, if you guys have some questions or you're considering moving into the area, drop them in the comments. Let us know down below. We'd be happy to address them as we kind of go along through the live today. So you ready for a good show?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So I'm going to bring on just a few new developments. We're going to go kind of through the new stuff, and then maybe we'll kind of talk about living in Granite Bay as a whole. If someone's considering more of like the resale market, maybe some of the older established neighborhoods. I know you've definitely sold quite a few properties in Granite Bay. I know you had that one sweet listing, right? Was it Shelbourne Estates?
Shelbourne. Then we got Los Lagos, Calle Montalvo.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hey,
okay,
so
we'll get into
Sam,
some of those communities. We'll get into those communities as well. But for now, I do want to hop into new builds. And really, it's because I've had quite a bit of interest recently. We actually just closed one new construction literally like a week ago. And the first community I would really want to drop in here is by Premier Homes, Soleil. I don't know if I'm saying that entirely correct, but I feel like I am. So this is a sweet community that's really started not too long ago. They've sold fairly quickly, I would say. And I mean, they're literally just down the street for Folsom Lake. So it gives it really an advantageous location. Really, I even remember when it was just a dirt lot there, right off Douglas and, Folsom Auburn kind of area right there, right on the intersection, right before you get into kind of Folsom Lake. So Premier Homes, Mark, what do you think about Premier Homes? Have you kind of sold any of their homes, kind of looked at their product at all recently?
Well, they were building over in Anatolia. They had they're kind of competitive with Crestley over there.
Yeah.
And there's some home builders that I think kind of play towards their competition. Premier knew by going into Granite Bay, they had to kind of step up their game. I like their models. I think they look really, really nice. I think the finishes are really nice. Mm-hmm. Granite Bay is just a really beautiful area as well too. So they really, if anyone's going to be building there, they know they have to step up their game. Like they just have to kind of bring their A game. Premier, they're good. Like I said, like they're competing with Crestley up in Anatolia, but with this new community here in Granite Bay, they definitely did. Their product is way, way better than what they had over in Anatolia, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. No, they definitely stepped up their game on these. I actually had a client just close on one of these literally a week ago. It's about a year-long wait. And pricing here can be, I mean, current pricing can be anywhere from the high sevens into the low $1 million mark. The backyards are a little bit tighter, so that might be a drawback for some people. But I mean, it really does have a sweet location, literally minutes from the entrance of Folsom Lake. So I think that makes it appealing. The other thing is it's a gated community. And I mean, you can see here on the website, the finishes, it's got a lot of this kind of stone on the front end. And when you see these homes in person, it almost gives you a little bit of a Lake Tahoe feel to them. When you drive in, it's kind of its own little community, which I thought was cool. Some kind of more exposed beams on the exterior and stuff like that. It looks cool. It had definitely a little bit of a Tahoe vibe. One thing about this one, which most people wouldn't guess, even I kind of was hesitant to even see that this would happen in a small community like this. But with their HOA, yes, it's gated and there's only about 52 homes, if I'm not mistaken. But they are going to have their own clubhouse, pool, and spa. So literally a community center within this small community, all for an HOA here I have in my notes. It's about $239 a month. So not a terribly crazy HOA to get pool, spa, and clubhouse feel, right?
Not bad. Well, here, do you want me to hit you with a negative though?
Hit me.
Because I brought some clients there, and the thing is, like the garages and parking, you know what I mean? Like the community was small, it was nice, but they're just, a lot of people were thinking, well, if I'm going Granite Bay, I want like 3-car garage. You know, what's the rules and regulations about parking your car in the driveway if you have guests coming in? That's a huge thing, especially if you're going to be paying $1 million. And that's where this community, I lost some people with this community. You know, they're like, we don't mind the price tag. The house looks nice, you know, but the front of it is kind of tight towards the sidewalk. And, you know, is there a 3rd-car garage? Can we get, and that's where I lost a few people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. I was actually thinking that even today, because there's still some construction going on, you know, and there's already people in their residences and stuff. And there's just a few kind of parking spots here and there, you know, to park maybe 3, 4, 5 cars. And there's kind of these segments because you can't really do, you know, street parking, as you mentioned. So I would definitely say that's one drawback. Also kind of smaller yards. But again, I mean, for me, as far as if you're just wanting to be in the location and maybe want minimal maintenance, you and I both know this, that it kind of goes 50-50 as far as my experience with clients that either like HOA or they don't like HOA. And some people really like it because, you know, for them, it kind of gives them that assurance that, you know, their neighbors aren't going to be a pain or whatnot. But for others, they just prefer not to have it whatsoever, right?
Well, I mean, we just closed one, what was it, in Granite Bay? We closed one a couple of days ago. And, you know, it was a nice home in Granite Bay, 2,700 square feet, pool, fire pit, 3-car garage, really gorgeous neighborhood for $900,000.
Yeah.
I mean, so, and no HOA, great neighborhood. I mean, gorgeous house and everything too. So, you know, as much as I love new and I think these homes are great, it'd be nice if they're spread out a little bit more. It'd be nice if the parking, it'd be nice if you had a little bit of that kind of like, you know, and like the separation between the sidewalk and the house, you know, like it just would be nice. But again, the location's phenomenal, you know, all that stuff, you know, so I kind of go back and forth, but I do love the finishes in these houses and I think they will definitely impress you.
Yeah. Like, for instance, on some of these floor plans, they actually give you an in-law unit option. So my client on the first, so it's a 2-story on the first floor in the back to the right-hand side, there's a full-on separate entrance, in-law unit, got a little living space with the kitchenette and everything, got its own bedroom, walk-in closet, just massive bathroom. So, I mean, gorgeous, and you have separate access. So if you're looking for that, where you might have you know, parents living with you or one of the parents or, you know, maybe a kid from college, whatever the situation is. I've always been a fan of those kind of in-law unit features. And I know they're getting super popular right now throughout the new builds market in general. So, okay. So I would say that's a good one. Just real quick, just run down on this. If you guys are thinking about this community at all, you can reach out to me or Mark. Obviously, we've been there before. So before you kind of go into a new community, just know that you do want to bring your own realtor. Otherwise, they'll make you work with their in-house reps who are essentially licensed real estate agents. So just keep that in mind. We've seen it a ton of times. Mark, you could probably speak on this, how some of our clients walk in, they just want to see the model homes, or they saw our channel and then they kind of go in up unrepresented and then realize, oh, I actually should have walked in with my agent before I got here, because now they're saying that I can't, work with my realtor.
Well, for example, like this community, right? You kind of like got the best price for your client in this community. And so if someone else comes in the door and says, hey, Sam, I'm looking at this community, you can say, look, I've already gone to battle. I've already seen exactly what incentives they're giving. I already know exactly the blueprint of this builder. I have great rapport with the sales rep, and I can go in there. So it's not only about like just having a realtor to go in there. I mean, honestly, I would say like 9 out of 10 realtors that you bring in there are just going to go for the check and just be out the door. But people like Sam and I, we've closed a great deal of new homes, and like, we know the sales rep, we know the incentives, we know what their initial pricing and their initial deals are, and how far we can get them down, because we have a track record to back it up. Like I said, you call Sam up and you say, hey, Sam, in the last year, how many new homes have you closed? He'll give you a laundry list of new homes. And that's speaks volumes of like people who know new homes. And honestly, the other thing too is like, realistically speaking, just being honest, is like, there are a lot of realtors out there. 9 out of 10 realtors who are in the Sacramento or Placer area have no clue about new homes. They have zero knowledge of incentives, of what you can get their client or anything. They're just like, yeah, bring me in. Let's sign up. Ooh, yeah, this is great. They have no idea what's actually available for their clients. Yeah. And so, not only bring a realtor, but find a realtor who actually knows what they're talking about new homes. I mean, it's vital in this market,
I actually have some realtors, like that we rub shoulders and whatnot. They actually reach out to me asking about all the new construction kind of details, what kind of deals are happening, where the incentives at right now. Because the reality is, with the market changing, we still don't have enough inventory. And if you've been looking on the market, you realize there's not really a ton of homes to choose in the resale market. I mean, here and there, they're starting to come up more and more, but it's not like a plethora of beautiful homes. A lot of them are just, they're okay. So that's what we're seeing. And so that's why the new builds market becomes so attractive, because when we have buyers that actually do need to just buy, like get something today because of their situation or whatever it is, knowing the new builds market kind of gives another opportunity, whereas most people don't really know it that much. Hopping into this question real quick before I kind of forget about it. Priscilla asks, around what price point should I expect to buy a home in Granite Bay? Mark, you want to run that one real quick?
If you're talking resale, you could probably get into Granite Bay. Some of the stuff by like Joe Rogers, maybe like the old school ranch style homes, maybe like 8-ish maybe, but you got to do a lot of rehab on it. They come with some nice land. I would say anywhere from that to maybe like 4, 5, 6 millions. Eddie Murphy lived in Los Lagos. And so, it goes up and up. I mean, the thing about Granite Bay is, for the most part, and this is why these homes that Sam's talking about are kind of different than most. In Granite Bay, you find a lot of big houses, right? That's where you're going to find your estate houses, stuff that's set back, stuff that you see in like movies. I mean, Granite Bay's got some amazing like estate homes. So you can blow $5-6 million there, like not even a problem over there. And it's one of the rare markets, I'd say, in Sacramento, or rare areas in Sacramento that, like you can just keep going higher. I've seen like over $10 million houses over there, so sky's the limit. Huh? But remember, you got to clean them. You got to pay for the electricity. So be careful.
No, it's funny. Like a lot of these high-end properties, I mean, you can expect to have a landscaper almost full-time on your property, just keeping up with it. And I've met multiple owners that have that, It's literally someone almost on full-time, just maintaining the grounds around their property. It's crazy.
When you come out in a bathrobe on your little, porch every morning and wave at everyone, hi.
I love that. Do they offer any, she has another question. Do they offer any incentives in these new communities? And I'll take that one. Yeah, absolutely. Like even that new community we were just talking about by Premier Homes, they do have one plan that's a quick move-in. So they'll be flexible about 30 grand on the price because it's quick move-in. So builders want to really offset newer construction homes. And of course, a lot of the times when you use their preferred lenders or even their in-house lenders, they may give you some closing cost credit or may work with you on different incentives. So as far as this one right now, there is a quick move-in option. I believe it's the plan 2, and they'll be about $30K flexible with price. But we know, and I know, that if you really want the house and you really want to negotiate and it's the right one, it's usually more than that. So that'll just kind of give you a little quick breakdown. But before we hop into too much, I want to break into the next community. Mark, I think you've been on this one. This is the Cottages at Eureka Grove, Granite Bay. This is one of, I would say, like 2 sister communities. You have the Cottages and the Residences, which I can switch between those. But this is New Home Company. They've been kind of coming into Sacramento more and more. They've had quite a few communities lately. Some famous ones that maybe you've been hearing about if you've been following our channels. Is they have, I believe, Rockland Meadows in Rockland, California. I mean, Mark did a video on that one. And then also they had Silvercrest and Gold Hill up in Folsom Ranch, right, Mark?
Yeah. What did you think of the Cottages?
It was good. Actually, before I go into it, but if you guys want to, after this video, I linked it in the description down below. You could check out those model tours. I did this for this one. I thought they were nice.
Oh, hey, Sam, can I say one thing before we get going?
Go.
Guys, Sam is here every week giving you guys good content. Like this video, subscribe, comment, give the guy some love. I mean, he has set up his set and all that kind of stuff for you guys. He did all this research for you. So give him a little love. Give that thumbs up button for him.
Come on.
There you go, Sam.
I like that. Thanks, man. Shameless plug. I appreciate it.
No worries,
Cottages, man. I actually really like this community. Now, if you check out the floor plans that I'll show you, really nice homes. I mean, I think they've done great with the design. I will say the model homes probably look way better than what most people are actually buying there as far as, the base value stuff. But what I actually preferred over the Cottages was to buy one of the residences. They had this really sweet single-story floor plan, and it was like over 3,000 square feet, just absolutely gorgeous. I think I linked that one down below too. But I was just more a fan of the residences because you had more space. You had more of a normal, I would say more of a normal size backyard, whereas these are really tight and really close together on the Cottages. I mean, hence the name.
Yeah.
Kind of gives it that vibe. But again, you're in kind of a gated community in a sweet location in Granite Bay. You're literally like 2 minutes away from a Safeway Plaza, with a bunch of food, restaurants. You got House of Oliver over there, which is a really cool, like, kind of wine lounge with live music. So I would say it's a pretty good location overall.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty good. Like you said, the Cottages are a little tight, residences a little bit better. Mm-hmm. But you're in Granite Bay, and like a lot of people might not know this. And Granite Bay is one of those spots that is kind of like, and no one laugh, it's like the Beverly Hills of Sacramento. A lot of people like look at it that way. It's just like a spot. So it's one of those spots that people love getting into, and people just love it there. And, I get it. It's absolutely beautiful. You're close to the stores, close to shopping, you're close to the lake. Everything's good. It wouldn't surprise me, Sam. Check this out. This is what I was thinking about this when I was seeing some of the stuff. I think both the New Home Company and Premier Homes, I think they might be getting a lot of people who maybe have these monster houses in Granite Bay that might be thinking of selling them and downsizing, but still want to stay into the Granite Bay area. I mean, that's what I was looking at these things going. They're beautiful houses. They're nice. And looking at some of these like 7,000 square foot monsters in Granite Bay and going, I could see someone saying, you know what, put in my time, man. I just want to retire, have a nice house. I don't want to leave Granite Bay because I got my buddies there, but that's the plan of the day. So
literally I've had that conversation before. Someone bought a house, they had kids, now they're empty nesters, sent everybody off to college or whatever, and now they got this huge 3,000-4,000 square foot home, and they're just like, I don't want to deal with this anymore, but I still want to live in the area. And so I think this makes a great opportunity for that. But also even a lot of let's say young families that maybe only have 1 or 2 young kids, and they just want to get into Granite Bay and not be paying, $1.5 million or more. So you can get in, just under $1 million or right around $1 million and still get a really nice brand new home for the area. I mean, what we're paying for is location here, right?
Yeah, it's definitely location.
Yeah. So I got a good friend saying, I didn't realize I stepped into Sacramento HOF room. I'm not sure what HOF stands for, but but I'm sure he's pumped about the video. So good to see y'all
Hall
here,
of
Steven.
Fame.
Huh? Hall of Fame. Oh, here we go.
Hall of Fame.
Dude, I'm so outdated here. Check this out. GOAT plus GOAT equals championship. We should start a team, Mark.
See?
Yeah.
You get the GOAT, right?
Yeah, I got the GOAT. Now I got that. So really quickly, we're not doing a good job on this live stream here, but check this out.
This is what it's all about,
yeah,
you know?
This is the residence, the residence that I wanted to show you. Same community. I mean, these are right next to each other if you want to see the model homes. They're basically sold out. Now, the previous community I showed you guys, they still have a few left to sell, and I think 6 more still to build. So if you kind of want to choose your upgrades and all that, you can. But as far as with the residences, those went a little bit quicker. And you can see here the Residence 2, that white house, that's the one I really like. That modern farmhouse style. I love this house. I think it's sweet. Let's see if I can open it up here. But this is really kind of the house that I was digging. I did a video on this one as well, guys, if you want to see that. But I think they only have one left like this right now. So if you're antsy and you want to get a home here at the Residences, this one is just starting at about $1.179 million for this plan 2 as far as the last one they have available. What do you think about that price over there?
Square footage, all that stuff. I think it's for a new home. It makes sense. But like I said, it's kind of like, it's just a little bit of a standout. You don't see really that type of house in Granite Bay too much. I don't know. I like it. I think it's nice. Could you, I don't know. It's hard for me, because then I look at Rockland, I see what they have at the new home company over there, and you can get a close to 4,000 square foot. You know what I mean? Like, so it's hard. Like it really is like about what the location means to you, the area, work and all this kind of stuff too. But I do think, and that thing's over 3,000 square feet, right?
It's pushing 3,000. I think it's at 2,800 if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, brand new. It's going to have solar. Depending what size backyard too. Can you get a pool in the backyard? Because I love pool.
No, well, it depends. I'm having a hard time recalling, but I think they're a little bit tighter. They're not as small as the cottages, but I wouldn't say they're these nice big backyards where it's just pool, fire pit, all spread out around there. So that's kind of one thing. One thing over there as well is they do have, HOA Melrose, which I don't have off the no, I do have it here. So HOA is about $220 a month, and Melrose are roughly $250 a month plus. So I think on these residences, it was actually pushing a little bit higher in the high 200s. So again, you kind of got some of those other fees working in, not just your $1 million price point here. And that's something to consider as well, because what we're talking about is affordability, monthly payment, and so on and so forth, right?
Well, here's the thing that kind of gets me. Like, I understand Melrose in areas like West Roseville and Folsom Ranch.
Yeah.
But like, that's like smack dab in the middle of Granite Bay. Like, where are they building? Like, I don't understand where that Melrose is going to. It'd be like, I don't get it. Like, there's certain communities I get. West Roseville, they got to build all that infrastructure. But like there, it's like the heart of Granite Bay, and that's a huge Melrose for there. Yeah, what are they going to build?
Literally, they're charging the same Melrose for an area that's already developed all around them. It's kind of crazy, right? There's already a ton of existing schools. Like, I don't know where the money is going, to be honest with you, but someone needs to review the budget. So I got someone hopping on here, Umer, saying great video. Big shout out to you. Thanks for hopping on. Really appreciate that. And just some clarity, that is the Hall of Fame, as Mark mentioned. So we're good on that one. Yeah, that's funny.
Steven right now is going, Sam.
He's like, dude, you're killing me, bro. So I want to jump into this next community. This one I'm really excited about, and I still see some of your guys' comments. I'll be bringing those up. So just give me a second here, but I do want to bring on this community. Now, I'm really pumped about this one. So this is Magnolia at Granite Bay. Beautiful, brand new community. This is Tim Lewis. So pretty well-known builder in our area, I would say. My parents even had a Tim Lewis at one point. So these are going to be luxurious new single-story homes. Now, they are saying on 1 acre home sites in Granite Bay. It could be an acre, could not be. I'm not sure. We haven't seen the plot plans, but I have driven the road around here already. Kind of driven the community. The gates were a little bit open. I shouldn't have said that on live television, but I'm really excited about this community because Tim Lewis, they've built here before. They've built in Rockland. Just recently, they had the Summit in Whitney Ranch. So that was a great community. And then now they're coming into Granite Bay and they're going big, big lots, big size homes too. Just to give you an idea of the size of these homes, are going to be anywhere from 3,765 all the way up to over 5,000 square feet, 3 to 5 garage units with bigger lots, of course, pushing the acre. And there is going to be some sort of HOA and Melrose. I'm still waiting to hear back on that. What do you think? First thoughts?
If you're going over 2 million, I would go custom.
Okay.
Me right there in a nutshell. I mean, like I'm thinking to myself, like you look at the Serrano area, or even there's I think one lot remaining in Los Lagos that you can pick up for like around $500,000. And then let's say you permits and everything, grading, everything. Let's say everything runs you about $100,000, and then you get your house built the way you want it to be for $350 a square foot. For me, I like that a little bit better. That's just me, my own preference. So that's what I would be looking at myself. Like I think when you start pushing the envelope, semi-custom in over 2 million, I think you've got to kind of reevaluate a little bit, because here's the thing. I work with a lot of people who are looking for custom homes on the resale even too. And there's something about the custom homes that drives a higher ticket price always.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. I'd say over 2, I'd be looking custom.
So with their pricing, they even just on their notes here, I realize they're saying they're starting about 1.6 million, but I know there's probably going to be some lot premiums there. And then also with upgrades, I can't imagine on a home starting at a base at 1.6, you're not going to easily put maybe another 200,000 to 400,000 in upgrades into it, plus landscaping, probably another 100 or 200 right there. So we're looking pushing $2 million either way on one of these homes, right? Is that a fair assessment?
And those are the smaller ones.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so it's like, it just, and I get it. I think there are people that are going to be anxious to look at one of these, but I think that a lot of the people might jump into these because they think that the custom home route is too, it's too kind of like, it's too hard to maneuver. I do think it'll be interesting though. I think Tim Lewis, if they did their pricing a little bit where they're trying to keep it under 2 million, I think they'd sell these things out like that. I'm curious to see how they're going to do over 2 million. I'm just myself. I'm kind of curious about that, because check this out. Okay. So you think about it, like Tim Lewis is a luxury home builder, but everybody knows right now in Sacramento, whatever, Toll Brothers is kind of like the big boy as far as luxury homes. So you go Tim Lewis, you get a nice like acre in Granite Bay with a house. Hidden Ridge, you're out the door at like 1.516.
Yeah, those new homes in El Dorado Hills
coming
are
out.
Sweet. I like the El Dorado Hills homes,
know.
but the lot. So it's like a trade-off, right? Do I go in El Dorado Hills, get the home with the view, and it's an amazing view, but the lot size is not nearly close to an acre. That's for sure. If I had to guess, those lots are maybe like, I don't know, roughly 10,000 square feet ish, more or less. But they have a view. And over here, you're not really going to have a view. You're kind of more in the valley on Sierra College Boulevard. I've driven this. But it is a beautiful location. Right outside of this, just so people know, right outside of this location, it's on Sierra College Boulevard, right when Sierra College Boulevard starts going up the hill into Rockland, where I actually used to live a while back. There's a lot of custom homes up there to the right. And actually, Tim Lewis built a ton of homes up there on the left-hand side when you're going up Sierra College into Rockland and, of course, further into Loomis. But one sweet thing about this location is that you have Secret Ravine, which is a beautiful ravine with homes kind of on the outskirts. You can go walking, hiking, biking there. Just absolutely gorgeous trail that runs not far from this community, and it runs through most of Roseville. So if you're into kind of cycling or any of that, it's just a gorgeous area to go into. So location-wise, I'm digging the location, and it's kind of separated, but it's still close enough. You're near Sierra College and Douglas, which is a pretty I would say a pretty active intersection as far as like the Granite Bay, East Roseville segment, right? So it's pretty nice, I would say. I like the location a lot.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see when the models are up. Or you said that they weren't going to be doing models, so it's going to be interesting how that plays out.
Yeah, I heard that they weren't, but again, that could be just basically what I've heard when I gave them a call. That could also just mean that they're not ready yet. But I know that a lot of like some of the builders that I've been talking about, it's really getting more and more popular to still start the pre-selling before anything, any models are really done. Just kind of get the interest list going, right? That's pretty popular. We're seeing that more and more. But just to give you an idea, this is what kind of the residence would look like as far as like elevation goes, the front of the home. So I think it's going to be a good product. I mean, we'll see when it's finally here. But based on us looking at some of their other communities, being in some of their other homes, I think they're going to do a good job overall. It's just a matter of if people are going to be willing to pay that price point, right?
Yeah, all single stories.
Yeah, I believe so. If I'm not mistaken, let me double check here.
Interesting. Well, I mean, like, here's the thing. Also remember the guys. Also, if you guys are thinking Tim Lewis, believe me, if they do models, you're going to see a big price jump as soon as the models are built. So early pricing gets a worm. The only thing for me though is just like the price point worries me a little bit as far as that goes.
Yeah. So check this out. This is this is the Residence 5 with about 5,000 square feet. You can see here, 5 bedroom, 5.5 bath, 5 bay garage. Oh, isn't that a man's dream right there? Pricing from $2,040,000. So you can see here, this one is already at a base at $2 million. But again, that's a huge house with over 5,000 square feet. So if you get that on an acre lot, that's a pretty sweet little combo right there, right?
Yeah. I mean, there is a house. I saw a semi-custom being sold just up the road for, I think, 2.4 with a swimming pool, landscape backyard. And it's pretty dialed in as well, too. So, I mean, we'll see. I mean, like I said, I don't have any crystal ball where the market's going or whatever. But at the same time, like for me, my price point has changed just because the market has. Before I was thinking maybe over 1.3 or 1.4 when building prices were somewhat relatively affordable. I would say go custom, in my opinion, or I would. But if I'm looking over 2, I think I would rather just find myself a nice piece of land, maybe like an acre or something. And then just, build my house the way I'd want to build it. And I think, that would just be me. But, I'm looking forward to the community, though. It's going to be interesting. And I think if they were going to do this type of community anywhere and have it succeed, Granite Bay is definitely the spot that they can make it work.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So I think, we'll see what the interest is like. But again, I wanted to share it to you guys first. I have verified there's not really any videos, no information on this community much. So we're kind of giving it to you first here on the channel. So I hope you guys appreciate it. And if you're finding this content valuable, if you're thinking about new construction homes in Granite Bay, give it a thumbs up. And of course, if you need any help buying or selling real estate in the area, you could reach out to Mark or myself and make sure to give his channel some love. I do have one more community. I'm super pumped about this one. I think, of course, someone is calling me right now. It's not the time. I'm on a live stream, guys.
Oh, hey, we got a comment too.
Oh yeah, hold on.
Or
let me pull it up before we kind of go too far ahead of myself. I don't want to forget this. Okay, so here it is. What are the market trends are you guys envisioning in the next year or two, given interest rates are rising and CPI not going down fast enough? So what are the market trends are we envisioning in the next year or two, given interest rates are rising? So what do you think is going to happen with the market in this next year or so, Mark?
First of all, I got no crystal ball, so I'm going to disclaimer there. But I will say there are some optimistic things for Sacramento.
Yeah.
One is Forbes listed us as the #1 spot to live in California. Redfin said out of anywhere in the United States, people are migrating to Sacramento, which is fantastic for us. I think as far as recession goes and all that kind of stuff, I think that we're in a good location right here because of our diversity of jobs, right? We got healthcare, we got state jobs, we got medical, we got tech, we got a whole bunch of everything. So if one market kind of tends to tank, the other ones kind of prop us up. We got Kaisers in every street corner. So I do like our market. I do think the hardest part, I've been saying this since maybe November, is the idea that I think we're going to be on low inventory for a long, long time. I think that because the rates were held down artificially at like 2.75s for that long, I think a lot of people refinance and purchase at that interest rates. And I think that a lot of people did their jump up move. They made that move. They made their
Yeah.
bounce to what they wanted because interest rates
Yeah.
were so good. And I think you're going to need a very powerful crowbar to actually get them out of their houses to sell. So when people are like, oh my God, like houses are going to drop in prices, houses might drop in prices, might drop in price, but doesn't mean they're going to sell them. My house could drop it could be like, I could see one day that it's gone down $100,000. Doesn't mean I'm going to sell my house. Like I'm good. I'm staying here for a long, long time because for me, I made the move and I made the move thinking it's going to be my primary for the next 7 to 8 years. I love my interest rate and I'm not going anywhere. And so for me, I think that really doesn't do well for buyers. Mm-hmm. And I think buyers are going to have to, suck it up and hit these higher interest rates, and they might not be getting the houses they want and the inventory might not pop up. So I think it's not going to be fantastic, but doable, I think, if you need to buy. What do you think, Sam?
Yeah, I mean, it's been interesting. I would say that February definitely had a seasonal uptick. I had a very busy month this month. We've had quite a few closings. So I've definitely felt the market pick up in my business as far as what I'm seeing. And, interest rates just recently rose up a little bit again. So we'll see how buyers respond. But I think that overall, as far as a lot of the clients that I'm dealing with and working with, is that they're kind of getting used to the rate. Like they're kind of, of course, affordability is still an issue for a lot of, the buyer pool, let's put it that way. There's just definitely less buyers in the market overall. But even we've seen this last month. Now, I can't say that this is for the market as a whole, but what I've experienced is even out of the homes that we got in contract, a lot of them were multiple offer situations. And even seeing some of the new build construction homes opening up this month as well, right? I was reviewing quite a few new builds in Folsom over the last few weeks. They had lines out the door on opening, and there was like a 20-person wait list for each plan in that community. It's just absolute insanity. And they sold out almost in the first weekend. So yes, those are kind of like outliers. I wouldn't say that's a whole picture for the market, but as far as when you're mentioning stronger market here in Sacramento, to an extent, I would say yes, because we do have a lot of that inflow into Sacramento. Our market's a little bit different than others. I would say we still have a lot of the Bay Area moving into Sacramento or the greater Sacramento area. And I think that's actually been keeping our market and our, kind of sales stronger for the most part. But again, you're totally right. I'm not seeing a ton of homes hit the market. There's a lot of sellers that are also kind of hunkering down. They like their low interest rate that they locked in at. They already moved up and took advantage of those low rates that we had for a couple of years. And now, when they see that 6.5, maybe even 7% interest rate, they're like, nah, I'll wait. So we're not seeing a ton of inventory hit the market, right?
Yeah.
Any last thoughts on that one before we go to the next community?
No, I mean, I think we're both on the same page. And like I said, guys, Sam and I don't have crystal balls at all. All we can tell you is that this is what we're experiencing with our clients. Yeah. A lot of people are saying, oh yeah, there's, the buyer demand, I think, is greater than the amount of inventory out there currently. And so that's kind of what you're seeing. It's kind of a little confusing market though too, because a lot of people see all these houses on the market that have been there for 3 to 4 months. And then they're like, what are you guys talking about? No inventory. Look at all those houses. Yeah, those houses are kind of, have you seen the photos? And so those houses are kind of out there, but the new stuff, if you look at it on Friday, there's nothing popping on the market. And the things that are popping on the market, if it's a listing agent who knows what they're doing, the thing's in contract the following week. So, it's just what it is right now. But, that's kind of the way the market's going to be for a while, I think. And with the whole like CPI and the jobs report, all of a sudden pushing us from like in January, beginning of January, where like 5.5 was the average interest rate to now like a 6.99. It's worrying a lot of people. It's pushing a lot of people out of the buying pool. Yeah. And people are kind of worried where this interest rate's going to go. So, it's going to be an interesting ride, and I'm telling you guys, there are a lot of people who still need to buy and are going to buy. And they know that if they do, they'll eventually be able to refinance, but it's still a kind of hard pill to swallow when you see interest rates going up the way they are right now.
Yeah, no, definitely. We'll see how aggressively they kind of, if they spike up over the next few months, it's a big if. There's still a lot of people saying out there that, hey, they might come back down, right? But as we both know, that it's a bunch of he say, she say, even with experts. So when we advise a client, it's always based on what rate are you getting today? Can you afford that rate? And
Yeah.
is it affordable? If so, and if you still need to move, if it's still a good move, house fits the bill, monthly payment is okay, it's doable, then sure. But if it's you're stretched thin and then you're kind of banking on the rate dropping in the next few months to refinance, I probably wouldn't go that route right now. So probably buy in a more affordable price point to make sure that it makes sense for you. Or even, since we're talking about new builds right now, still there's a lot of new builds on quick move-in homes. They're willing to give you some incentives where they buy down your interest rate to make the home more affordable for you. So consider that as well, that you're not totally out of luck. If you're shopping around, we know multiple communities right now, they're still promising lower fixed interest rates. One we just had in Anatolia, they still had a few homes that they were promising 4.99% for a while on those homes if you locked in a loan with them. So just keep that in mind. There's incentives like that out there. They're not everywhere, but there's opportunity out there if you look for it. Right?
Yeah.
So let's hop into this other community.
100%.
I'm actually pretty stoked on this one. So this is a good new community coming into Granite Bay. This is White Hawk by Anthem United, another kind of bigger builder in the area. I would say for the most part, they just started developing. They're already pre-selling some homes. Now, very interesting community because it's kind of going right down Douglas. I would say a lot of these new build communities that I'm talking about are really not too far from each other. So if you guys came into town, you called up me or Mark and we're thinking, hey, we want to visit some of the new communities you talked about in Granite Bay, you could easily do it in a couple hours and review kind of, your main choices for Granite Bay. I would say that we're, just the handful that there are here is basically all the new communities going on right now. Once you kind of start going into Roseville, Rockland, Lincoln, Folsom, that's really when, it opens up with a ton of opportunities with new construction. But here in Granite Bay, these are just the solid few. So I thought I'd give you guys a favor and just kind of do it all in one swing. But this is going to be a nice little gated community here, as you can see. Just to give you kind of an idea of what's going on here, there's going to be 55 home sites, 5 different plans, 3 different models, and they will all be single-story homes based on the notes that I received today. So pretty interesting. Now, starting price point here, you're looking at $1.2 million on the plan 1, up to about $1.385 on the plan 5. So between 1.2 and just under 1.4 million starting on pricing with these. Now, lots are going to be pushing 10,000 square feet. So not necessarily the acre lots that we were talking about earlier. But there will still be an HOA of about $315 a month, and Melrose will be roughly $400 a month. What do you think about that one?
I like the pricing. I like the lot size. I get it. A lot of people want that big acre lot, but that's a lot of landscaping and that's a lot of maintenance. And, that's a big water bill during summertime. I like 10,000 square feet. I think it's doable. Anthem United is kind of a quiet builder. We don't really talk about them too much, but they built, I think it was, what was it, like Iron Ridge up at Folsom. They did nice floor plans there too. I like this community. I think the pricing is good. I think for Granite Bay, I see this community doing really, really good. So I like this community. I think it's good.
It's actually a really nice community. When you drive past it, you only notice it because of the construction, but around there, it's pretty quiet. It's, you're on Douglas, which itself is kind of a more thorough street through, going into Granite Bay out of East Roseville. But when you look at it, there's not really a ton of stuff going on around there. So I feel like it's going to be still quieter, a little bit more secluded. On this street right here, you'll see there's some private neighborhoods with huge custom, semi-custom homes. Some have like mini lakes and ponds. It's just a really gorgeous area. So I think location-wise, I can't say anything bad about it. One thing that is, to me, I do like the lot size, but for me, with having a higher HOA of $315 a month and Melrose of $400 a month, I do think that's personally a little steep for what it is. But again, for some people, just to be in the location and still be in that kind of low $1 million price point to get in, it may work.
Yeah.
Right. Now,
and the thing I think, go for it.
No, go ahead. I was just
For
gonna say
Anthem
this.
United, the biggest thing people have, the biggest thing people have for Anthem United is the fact is their marketing is the worst marketing of any new home company like I've ever experienced in my life. I'd be showing people like I was cruising around Folsom and everything too, and they're like, "Are there any more builders?" I mean, like we'd go to. I'm like, "Oh, hey, is that what's that over there?" I mean, their marketing is so really bad. Like no one really knows they're ever building. Like in Folsom, I guarantee you, I would talk to a bunch of people there and be like, "Hey, do you know where Anthem United is?" No one would tell me where it is. Their marketing is very, very bad. Like for you stumbled across this. You're like, "What is this?" And they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, Anthem United." Did we see it online? Did you see the marketing? Nothing.
Not much.
So
No.
that's a big advantage also by finding stuff that's, not really marketed that well.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's true. I've kind of found that to be interesting. So I don't know if they just don't have a budget for it or what, but I guess we're going to do the marketing for them.
We need to sell the homes. We need to sell them.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
There's low inventory, man. So we're going to work it. But just to give you guys kind of an idea of what they look like from the front, I'm going to pull it up here. So that's kind of what you're looking at right there. This is the Plan 3, Napa Valley. You got the California Prairie. I got some interesting names here. The Plan 4 right there. So you got different elevations going on here as well. So
is it
again,
just
you guys
me or
can
the elevation's really not doing it for me?
I was going to say they don't look that fancy. I'm just going to be completely honest. But we'll see when the final product comes out, But again, this is one of the new communities here in Granite Bay. So if you guys are excited and you want new construction in Granite Bay, these model homes are going to be ready for you in early spring, as what they told me. So pretty excited about that one. Just to even see the product, what's going on. Of course, we'll probably even do some new build tours on that one if Mark doesn't beat me to it. So any other communities in Granite Bay, anything that we should know about, Mark? What are kind of the hot zones in Granite Bay for maybe some of the people watching out there thinking about, hey, where should I plant my roots here?
Granite Bay is a nice spot. I mean, the only builder we didn't hit on was Blue Mountain, but they're duplexes. And so we both were kind of like, eh.
Yeah. And, I might show it for people just because I have it here. But yeah, so Blue Mountain Communities, I would say it's one thing they have going for them is they're literally built outside of Folsom Lake, which is like location-wise pretty cool because they're really close to one of the exits into. But again, they're kind of duplex style homes, and they basically sell you a halfplex. Now they don't call them duplex because they want to, have their specific verbiage on their marketing. But the reality is, it's a big duplex, and you're buying half, that. Now there's videos on that as well. You guys can check out my channel. The floor plans, they're nice. The interior is nice, but again, I found them to have a hard time selling because some people are like, hey, yeah, I can get a home here that's technically more affordable, but I want my separation and I want my separate living if I'm going to pay this much money, right?
Yeah.
So that,
and that's kind of why we didn't really include them as far as this stuff goes. And I think they're at the end of their build phase anyways. I think they might have one or two more, but they've been building for a while. Mm-hmm. I mean, they've been that community's been open for a while, and they didn't have that many units, and it was a hard time for them to push those things out there. So,
I agree.
Kind of tight.
So we had a comment come in here. What are your thoughts? Let me see here. What are your thoughts on custom home builds? Is there a rough estimate on minimum price? Example, $800K or $1.5 million for custom builds? Any past experience on build or I guess build quality? Yeah.
Yeah, custom builds are awesome. I would say for a lot, in my opinion, first of all, you want to make sure you're building a custom home near a bunch of other custom homes that are more expensive. Areas like Serrano are awesome, or Country Club and what's called Whitney Oaks, or like, Granite Bay, all those communities like Los Lagos, Shelbourne, all that stuff is kind of custom stuff too. So you want to make sure you're in the custom home area. You want to make sure that if you're going to be building like a $1.5 or $2 million home, you're in an area that kind of supports that. There's this one house, I think it's 6600 Palm Drive in Carmichael that, I don't know, it's still for sale. And it was a custom home, and it was like trying to sell for $2.5 million, and the house next door to it was like $900,000, and the other house next to it was like $650,000, and it was like, can't do that.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I actually sold it.
Everyone did a video on that house. Yeah, beautiful house though, but it made no sense, and it was definitely not going to appraise. So custom home, you get a lot, maybe between like 400 to maybe 750 for the lot, right? So then once you get that done, you got to get the permitting done. You either you got to go through the HOA for the permitting. Then you got to go through the county for the permitting as well too. Depending on if you're on a hill, if you're like on a hill, you need some grading done. Then that's going to be a little costly. You're going to, or you go on the other side where you're going to need dirt to fill in as well too. So, or you get somewhere flat, you don't have to deal with it. Los Lagos, there's a lot of rock formations that you have to worry about as well too. So you just have to kind of pick the area. Once you do that, I've worked with a lot of teams in the area too. You get your architect team and everything too, but you're going to be building about $350 around. It depends what style you got, right? I mean, you can go from like maybe 250 all the way to 450, but I always say 350 because it's right in the middle. And that's what you're looking at. Usually the sweet spot in a lot of areas, you don't want to build custom underneath 3,500 square feet. You want to go kind of above that, because at a certain point, it's like for every square foot, if you look at the price per square foot in the area and you're building right, it's going to make you money. So I like custom homes. I think for me, my next move is probably going to be a custom home. And that's probably the route I'm going to go in. And Sam's got some great connections in the custom home game as well too. So reach out to him for it. And, I like custom homes. I think it's a good alternative and I wouldn't be scared of them.
Yeah, no, we know quite a few builders, call it, I would say smaller kind of mom and pop shops, but they do a really good job. I mean, I know quite a few builders that build a lot of Folsom, El Dorado Hills. They'll build a few custom homes at a time and sell them, or sometimes they'll take on a project for a client and kind of build a home for them. A lot of the builders that, I'm acquainted with are typically building, popular floor plans that they're seeing or similar styles that they're seeing that are like really popular for the area. And they'll kind of build something like that, something a little bit more special. So they even hit the market once in a while. Like right now, it's really popular. If you look in El Dorado Hills, once in a while, a builder will throw up a property up there, 1.8 to 2.5 million, whatever it may be. So that's one, if you wanted just to get a custom home that's already done, that's, I think, an easier route. I think most people don't consider, and this, you can kind of let me know what your thoughts are on this, but it's a lot of work to even decide what you want in a custom home. And I think a lot of people don't consider this, but I've talked with multiple clients and the process can seem really exciting and amazing, but the reality, it takes like a lot of brain power, energy, and everything else to like really decide like, what do I actually want out of this home and how much is it going to cost me? Because it kind of seems like endless, right? Endless opportunity. What do you think about that?
Well, the only thing is, like, here's the thing. Like, for me, the spec homes that they're building out there tend to be just like almost double the price that they're paying to get these things built. I mean, right now, spec homes in El Dorado, the Toronto area, we're like 3.5 million, 3.2 million. When I'm looking at it and I'm talking to the builders, I'm like, how much was that? They're like, oh yeah, it cost us like, what's a 1.9 to get the whole thing out the door. So spec homes are pricey. I would say that, a lot of times pieces of land like in Serrano or custom home areas come with some floor plans you can use as well too. I'd say there's ways around it. I mean, I'd say reach out to Sam and talk to him a little custom home wise and get the pros and cons. The only reason we talk custom homes is when you're getting up to that 2 million range, like the Tim Lewis range. Like let's say, for example, you get this 5,000 square foot house, Tim Lewis, gorgeous, semi-custom. It's amazing. You spend like 3.1 on it. At the end of the day, when you go to sell it, it's still a semi-custom home, and it's not bad because, I mean, semi-custom homes, the way things are designed now is amazing. Open concept, high ceilings, everything. But at the same time, there are people out there who just want a custom home, even though they didn't design the home, they still want the custom home. So it tends to be seen as something that a custom home will go at a higher price than a semi-custom.
Yeah. I mean, it's all kind of what you want. I was just at a family friend's house the other day. This guy has amazing, beautiful, fully custom home, like kind of Tuscan style in El Dorado Hills overlooking Folsom Lake. And we're just kind of hanging out there and talking about it and whatnot. And so, I mean, just got gorgeous view from downtown to Folsom Lake. You just see the whole valley, just like absolutely gorgeous, like one of a kind home. It's got its own, elevator, dude. It's like the works, this home. And I talked to him about it, and he's like, what most people don't realize when you're working with a builder, you're building a custom home, you're putting all this money into it. It's got this high value. He's like, there's no such thing as a perfect home when it's being built. And that's what people need to kind of go into this process and like realize it's not going to be perfect. Like there's gonna be stuff that you're gonna find with the builder or subcontractors that they're hiring. So you really want to go with the quality builder that is doing a lot of these homes, not just like one-offs, because you just don't want to have a terrible experience, especially with this amount of money invested, and you kind of want to have that plan in place and make sure that it's going to follow through all the way with someone who knows what they're doing.
Yep. Absolutely. So this is fun, man. Granite
Bay. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed this kind of talk on Granite Bay today. I hope this has been super beneficial to you. Again, this was just a review of all the new construction going on in Granite Bay right now. And of course, there's still, like, as we just talked about, semi-custom builds going on here and there, kind of smaller groups. But these are kind of the bigger communities coming into Granite Bay. If you're kind of looking to get into Granite Bay without paying that higher price point for some of the resale stuff out here, reach out to me, Mark, if there's any way that we can help you find a new home or even a resale home in Granite Bay or the greater Sacramento area. We both have YouTube channels that are dedicated to helping people make a better decision on living in Granite Bay. Mark, any last final words before we send it off?
If you want to find my channel, all you got to type in is Sam Golovey. That's it. And you'll find my channel. Thanks, guys.
Number 2 YouTube channel. Like guys, remember to hit that like button, smash the subscribe, hit that bell, whatever you do. I don't even know what the bell does anymore. But anyways, do all the notifications if you want to stay up to date on Sacramento's real estate content. And if you like this video, if you want more information on Granite Bay, let us know in the comments down below. I love hearing from you guys. I see all the comments that come in. So if I could do a video that's going to help you out in your search or get you more informed about moving into the area, let us know down below. But for now, we'll see you next week, next Tuesday, live every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. Take care.